Okay, we are back yet again for another episode of Rise Above the Ranks. This podcast is in conjunction with our free real estate newsletter, The Blueprint. Go ahead and subscribe at readtheblueprint.com to stay up to date on the most important stories in real estate. Each week, we are going to go over one topic that we think can help elevate your game. On today's episode, we are going to be talking about how to become an expert agent in your market, which we think is probably the most important topic that exists. How to become a master of your craft, how to be the best version of yourself in the field that we're in. Tell me what your most important tips would be, Dave.
They say don't run before you can walk. I say run, fall over, get back up and keep running. That's what we did. Just keep going. But understand at the same time that it doesn't happen overnight. Remember when we first started, we came from across the pond. We did not know our way around. We went door knocking and it served more than one purpose. Firstly, it got us listings, teardowns for developers. But secondly, by door knocking, you learn the geography, you learn the streets, you learn the terrain, you learn the houses, you learn the neighborhood. It's like living somewhere, right? The more you walk around, the more you know the neighborhood.
Yeah.
So for us, door knocking, and we talk about it a lot, but again, it wasn't just to get listings, it was just to learn our way around.
Yep.
And now I think we do pretty well.
I agree 100%. And I think I used to say fake it till you make it. But in this business, there's only so much faking you can do before you get busted or you get caught or it looks stupid. You have to learn your market because I think as an expert in any industry, the information that you have is the key to your success. The way you carry yourself in this business is the key to your success. But unless you start with the information, you can't really jump to the next steps. So I think to be an expert in this market, especially in this market, which is getting more and more competitive, you have to have information about the areas you're working, information about the properties that you're dealing with, or the negotiation that you're in, or the competitors you're up against in a multiple counter situation, because that's what's going to separate you from the competition.
100%. And get a mentor.
Get a mentor, get someone you trust, someone that you can learn from, and listen and learn.
Right, because they are who you want to be.
Correct.
Right? We've done it with Mauricio's before. We've looked up to Jay's, the Drews, the Kurt's, right? These were people that paved the way for us. And if you want to emulate those people in your own way, by the way, because everyone's different, you just learn from them.
Yep.
You do business with them, you ask them questions, you listen to their answers, you see their style, you see which one suits you best, and you embrace it. And you keep going. So we're always learning. We're still learning.
It's a pretty incredible industry if you think about it, because you can literally look at agents that you have tremendous respect for and watch what they do. You can look at their website, you can see how they market, you can look at their social media, you can look at their listings, their photography, their videography, you can see the areas they farm. You can look at any agent and see what they do and how they do it, and then try and create it so that it's unique to who you are.
And you could even delve even deeper. You can get a lead, you can set up a listing meeting, and by the way, that's a whole different topic, but a numbers game, right? And you can bring one of those mentors into that listing meeting with you.
Absolutely.
At that point, you see them in action. You see how they get the listing, what they talk about. And what I noticed about a lot of these top agents is they don't all go in and shoot from the hips and just talk. They listen.
Yep.
They sit there and they listen. They ask questions and they know how to engage that way. And that, to me, someone who can just talk a lot, both of us, if we want to, if we're let to talk a lot, is a great thing, because it's not just about telling the clients something. It's about asking them questions to get that feedback from them so you know where they're at. And that is a 100%. Huge amount of discovery there.
And I think also, we're talking about information and how important it is. I think people need to be careful not to mistake that with sitting in a room and just researching for 6 months and not actually getting out there. I think you can almost learn too much that you talk yourself out of something.
You get way too technical.
Way too technical.
Yeah.
And I think where you and I were very blessed is that we just hit the ground running.
Fearless. Well, we were fearful, but we went past that barrier of fear and we just went for it.
Correct. We kind of learned as we went along instead of trying to learn everything before we got started, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, because I see a lot of people like I see a lot of people in all offices, right? And you see certain people, they're sitting there all day.
Yes.
They're in front of their screen all day. They're not on the phone, they're staring at the screen. I'm thinking, that's great. I mean, you're probably up to something, right?
Yep.
But I don't really see how you can build up a massive portfolio of listings and sales by sitting in front of your computer screen silent all day.
You can't.
You've got to be out there.
100%.
And another thing is smiling and dialing, right? Because we came from a sales background. We've sold over the phone. We're always picking up the phone and speaking to clients because it's not just selling a client on a listing meeting or selling a client on referrals. It's also learning from them.
1,000%.
You don't learn anything from talking. You learn from listening.
It's so unbelievably true. It's funny because in our office, I've got people that come up to both of us and they'll say, okay, so how did you get started? Door knocking. Okay, how did you door knock? You give them the pitch. 3 days later, they come back with their pitch. A week later, they come back with their list from title. 2 weeks later, they've sort of got their list down.
They've done everything except door knock the bloody doors.
Correct. And but that's it. There's so much talking. There's so much prep that they're actually talking themselves out of it. Get in your car, park it at the top of the street and start walking down and knock and knock. And what you're going to do by knocking and knocking and knocking and doing it is you're learning and learning and learning. And that information turns into something else that turns into something else. But being an expert agent in the market, I do want to go over a quick stat that Zillow came out with because I think this is interesting, shifting gears. 55% of clients today are looking to their real estate agent for financing advice. And we have to be prepared to give that advice accurately. So here are the top 3 concerns right now. Really understanding what mortgage costs are, number 1. Number 2, how much can your client truly afford before they're spending beyond their means? And 3, researching mortgage rates.
I think
that's an important topic.
We have a responsibility to have an idea of those 3 points, right? But at the end of the day, we're not mortgage brokers. We're not going to pretend to be mortgage brokers. We know a great set of mortgage brokers. I would refer them to the best because that's their job and they'll get it done. But ultimately, we go back to the mortgage costs, the mortgage rates. Historically, again, I've said it a million times, they're not that high. When you go back to the early 90s, right? When they were at 12, 14, 15%, that's high, right? Right now, we're at 6%. Maybe less. I don't think that's that bad.
It's really not that bad. Again, people were jaded by the 2s during COVID. That was never normal. Then it went to 4 to 5 to 6, but it's not 14, 15%. Barbara Corcoran did a great Instagram a couple weeks ago, and she was talking about this exactly. She was like, today's rates are nothing compared to what they were in the 90s. If you look at your cash on cash money sitting in the bank versus putting it in real estate today, the returns are going to be far greater in 5 years today, even at 5% in the bank. So borrowing at 5 or 6% today, when you can refinance in 12 months, is still a great bloody time to buy versus doing nothing. Then you factor in capital appreciation of what a house might grow in the next 5 to 10 years. The bottom line is get off your chair, get out your house and buy real estate. Okay, I need to stop down the episode for 1 second because every agent out there deserves to work with the best of the best. And when it comes to real estate CRMs, we are massive fans of Boomtown. With flexible packages that fit your unique business and all of the tools and tech for next level growth, Boomtown is built for winners. To claim $750 in free digital marketing credit, visit boomtownroi.com/blueprint and use promo code blueprint. Again, that's boomtownroi.com/blueprint.
And also, let's not forget, you have an amazing quality of life.
Totally.
It's not like buying a stock or buying a bond. By the way, I'm all for that in the right market. But you actually get to live in your house.
Yep.
If you have a yard, you
Yep.
get to hang out there on the weekends. Your kids get to enjoy the space. It's a whole lifestyle change.
Yep.
So in my opinion, it's the best investment of our lives.
Love that. And I think also for us as agents, if you want to become an expert agent in your market, how do we as agents create value to our clients?
Yeah.
How do we create value, not just from us personally, but when we walk into a house with a client who's not a real estate expert? They might be an expert in something else, but creating the value within the property they're in, telling them, here's what I would do. Here's where I think the kitchen should go. Maybe you should take down this wall. Maybe you should change the bathrooms, the kitchens. Here's what I would do. You're paying $1 million today. If you do X, Y, and Z, this could be worth $2 million. And here's how you're going to get to that number. Show your clients what you're made of. Take your expertise to another level so that your clients have that newfound respect for what you're best at.
Well, at the end of the day, that's what we do all day long.
Correct.
Day in, day out. We're around houses. We're seeing which ones sell. We're seeing which ones don't sell. We're seeing which ones sell for over asking price. We're seeing which ones go stale. And there's reasons. There's always a trend.
Totally.
And it's our time to shine. Like you said, it's our time to give our expert advice. Because, listen, if we're doing this all day long for many years and we don't know what we're doing, we're probably in the wrong business.
100%.
So it's our duty to be able to share in an honest way, right, what we know with our clients, because they don't always know that.
And I think, to your point, one of the most important things in this business, bar none, as an expert, is telling your client no, not to buy a property.
Yeah, I agree with that.
If your client is into a property and there's a clear-cut reason why they shouldn't buy it, the power of being honest and telling your client, I don't think you should buy this property. A, it's not worth the money they're asking. B, I think you're going to have a hard time selling it 3 to 5 years from now. C, I think there might be problems, or whatever it might be. The power of being honest and transparent and telling someone no is going to build that relationship for the next 20 years. And if you want to be in this business for the next 20, 30 years, you have to be transparent.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
I couldn't agree with you more. And the respect that you will get from a client by telling them how you really feel is better than anything. And that's where you'll learn trust. And that's where you'll buy 10 houses with 10 of their friends and work with them for 20 years.
Be honest all the way.
Amen.
There's no other way.
So, to summarize, be a master of your craft, have the information, be honest, be transparent, and go out and absolutely kill it. What else are we missing to wrap up the episode?
No, I think it's just treat your clients as your family. That's it. At the end of the day, if you truly believe something based on your expertise, share it with them. Don't be scared that you're going to offend them. If it's going to benefit them in the long run, they're going to appreciate it.
I love it.
Even if they don't straight away, they will in the future.
Couldn't agree with you more. So, in summary, if you want to be in this business and you want to be successful, don't look for the short-term, quick paycheck. Look for the long-term gain. Have longevity in the business. Be honest, be transparent, and go crush it.
Perfect.
I love it. One last thing we want to obviously share, because we're talking a lot about information, is truly understanding the comps when you're representing a seller. Take me through that process. You go to a listing meeting. What are you doing?
It's not all just about a price per square foot of house, because you have the lot size to talk about, but also every house is different. We've spoken about it before. You could be talking about a view property, and the one next door, even though it's just next door, the house could have a much better view orientation. So it's not just like having a spreadsheet, which we do, by the way. It's knowing the intricacies of every single property on that spreadsheet, because sometimes there's reasons why certain properties have sold for a lower price per square foot and are skewing the numbers. So again, I think it is about price per square foot. It is about lot size, but it's also about knowing each and every house in the area. Otherwise, you're half-baked. You're not really in a position to share your professional opinion if you don't really know it in detail.
Study the comps, be precise, and make it easy for the client to understand.
It's our job.
Love it. Okay, that brings us to the end of another great episode on how to be an expert agent in your market. Hopefully you've heard something great that will help you. Thank you so much for listening. That's another great episode from us on how to become a master at your craft in the real estate industry. That concludes another episode of Rise Above the Ranks, the sister publication to readtheblueprint.com. Click subscribe and we will be back soon for another episode. Thank you so much for listening.